G'day everyone. Today I want to do a quick follow-up video on my SIGHTRON TAC 4-20x50 scope. So I put up a first impressions video on this scope about 3 months ago, and every single weekend I've been shooting this rifle with this scope, and now I feel confident in giving my final thoughts on the scope. I've had a lot of range time with it, quite a lot of hunting time as well, and I just want to give my opinion on it. There's going to be no technical data or specifications or anything like that. You can Google that and find it online. This is just going to be my opinion on the scope from my experience with it. It's got the MOA2 reticle, and I would say that this reticle is probably the best reticle I've ever used in a scope. It's super fine, so aim small, miss small. That's basically sums it up. It just makes things very, very easy when you're target shooting. You can really pick out the spot you want to aim at. Even on a deer, you can just find a spot and feel confident in hitting it. So reticle is a massive thumbs up from me. I prefer this reticle than any other reticle I've used. The turrets have proved to be extremely reliable. So I've been dialing this every single weekend, shooting steel at 800-900 yards every weekend. I've shot at fallow deer out at over 700 yards, all dialing for the distance, and I've had no issues. Every time I bring it back to zero, it's back to zero at 200 yards. So the turrets are extremely accurate. I actually did a test with a mate the other day where we did 31.5 inches on a piece of cardboard, set it up at 100 yards, which equates to 30 minutes, and we clamped this into a vise, got it settled where the starting point of the line was, like the line was all level and true, cranked it up 30 minutes to see what would happen, to see if there was going to be any windage deviation, if the elevation was going to be true, and both were spot on. So for a scope in the budget sort of class category to track that well and track that accurate, I was extremely impressed. I thought there might have been a little bit off, but it was spot on. And 30 minutes is more than I'm ever going to need. So to know that it still tracks true at over 30 minutes is extremely impressive. The other thing I want to mention is the cost. So I paid about $800 for this scope from H&S Firearms in sale, and in my opinion, this would probably be the best bang for buck long range scope that you can buy at the moment. Now, this is a brand that I don't really see a whole lot of mention in Australia. They're probably reasonably well known, but I think everyone's sort of now, you've got the marketing and that from Vortex. Vortex seems to be everywhere. I have a Vortex HS 4-16x50 scope on the Weatherby 308, and I tell you right now, I would not buy another one when I could get this scope for nearly the same money. So it's something to keep in mind if you're looking at getting a scope for long range shooting. This here, bang for buck, I think you'd be hard pushed to beat it. This may not appeal to everyone, but everything's stiff, even your parallax adjustment, it's very stiff. So once you've set it, and if you're crashing and bashing through the bush, or if you're strapped to a backpack and your gun gets knocked or whatever, that's not going to change. Your zoom ring doesn't change unless you've got to use a little bit of force to change it. The same with the turret, very audible clicks, but they're not going to just randomly turn on you. I don't even run the caps anymore. This does have turret caps with it, but I pulled them off straight away because I wanted one of the turrets exposed. It just makes for quicker dialing. Everything about this scope is, for the money, like I say, is pretty damn impressive. Even the glass, there's never been a point in the field or at the range where I've thought, I wish this had better glass quality. So that's saying something. The glass isn't brilliant, don't get me wrong, on first and last light, you can tell it's not the best glass in the world, but as I said, it's never hindered me in any way. There's never been a point where I've thought I could have made a shot on that deer with better glass. So it's something to keep in mind. For the price, I think you'd be hard pushed to beat this scope. So that basically sums up my thoughts on the scope. If you want to check them out, maybe give H&S a call. They got this in for me pretty damn quick, and like I said, it was only about $800, so could be worth a thought if you're setting up a long range gun. If you have any questions or would like any more info on the scope or my thoughts, just fire away on a comment or send me a message on Instagram or Facebook or anything like that, and I'll happily answer. Cheers.